Hello, my name is Jorge Bugantes. I'm a natural resources specialist at the Anacostia Watershed Society. Happy World Wetlands Day. We are celebrating the work we're doing here. This is Heritage Island. This is Heritage Marsh right here. And in the background, we've got the RFK Stadium. We've been doing wetland restoration for the last decade or so. So the fencing that you see there is to keep the resident Canada geese out because they cause a lot of impacts with the grazing. Then we've been propagating native wetland plants of different kinds. So right here, this is a good spot where we have done wetland plantings with volunteers and school students from our Rice Ranger program. That's a program where the kids get to propagate the plants in the classroom, and then in early summer they come here and plant wild rice, arrow arum, pickerel weed, and many other species. So one of the things that we want to show you today is the importance of wetlands. And as you can see, the wetlands are like the kidneys of the Anacostia watershed. They filter nutrients, they filter sediment, they filter pollutants, and they filter trash. As you can see here, is very evident how efficient they are at filtering out trash. And you see like a pretty representative kind of sample of the trash items we get in the river. Plastic bottles, styrofoam, food wrapping, like Dorito bags and plastic bags and things like that. So in some of the plants we have propagated here, we see rose mallow, cattails has propagated naturally, and as well others that are pretty much died back at this time of the year that we can quite see. As you see, the water level is high. This is high tide. It was at, or it's going to be actually at 12:04, the high tide, and you can see how the tide covers all this marsh. So what happens is that an additional area of habitat expands with the high tide. So the fish, turtles, and other organisms can go and explore the marsh and forage for food and such. So that's why these wetlands are so important here. Well, let's take a look at, let's get a closer look at the marsh right here at Heritage Island. So this is Heritage Island. Kingman Island is on the background. Both are man-made islands. And then right there you can barely see it. There's some canoes and a floating dock that we have created there for public access, and there's a kayak rack in the making here by our partners from Living Classrooms. Let's take a look at the wetlands here. This is the Heritage Island Trail. It's a loop trail. You can hike it anytime. So right here you can see the cattails, broadleaf cattails, narrow leaf cattails, and here one of the other things I want to talk about is the importance of the wetlands as carbon sinks. They are phenomenal for carbon sequestration. What happens is that in the mud and also in the plant bodies, in that organic matter, the carbon is stored in this waterlogged environment that pretty much locks all that carbon from the atmosphere and such. And so that's why wetlands are wonderful for climate change adaptation, and they have found to be as efficient, and in some cases even more efficient than forest for storing carbon. There's a helicopter flying over. So take a look at this. I'm gonna show you. So once we get here, this is the border between the marsh and the forest. You see some trees like the silver maple that is very well adapted to the wet conditions, and this other tree right here where I am, this is red maple, and right here on the ground you can see all the debris. And if you, I don't know if you can notice from the camera, but there's, you know, some pieces of trash. This is styrofoam, and you can see the leaves and the styrofoam are covered with sediment, again showing how great wetlands are at filtering the sediment and intercepting trash. And with the sediment there's the nitrogen, phosphorus, and other other substances right there. And right here, this is a Chinese mystery snail. It's a non-native species that is common here in the wetland. This is like I was saying, this additional habitat during high tide right now is great for species like wood dogs, mallards. We get a lot of migratory species of ducks that come here and use the habitat during high tide. And then at low tide we have a bunch of other species that come here, raccoons, muskrats, and many others. So again, on this World Wetlands Day, we would like to celebrate the wetlands, celebrate the work we have been doing for the last decade.